Okay, if you like this video, subscribe to my channel, but let's get right to it. So, The Mandalorian, the last episode, the season finale, absolutely fantastic. I've spent more time watching the last 7 minutes over and over and over again than the entire episode. And so I think have a lot of people. I think Disney Plus is going to realize like this particular episode will be like the most watched episode of any new show they've put out. I don't care what it is. It's been a lot of fun to watch other people's reactions. I was gonna do my reaction to it and everything, but I thought maybe there'd be some copyright smackdown going on and everything, and I didn't want to try to distort the video. But my reaction was pretty similar to everyone else's that was out there. When the X-Wing flew in, I still had my doubts, when it came in, I was like, this is a bait and switch. This is totally a bait and switch, but they didn't subvert our expectations. They gave us the definitive Luke Skywalker in his prime 5 years after Return of the Jedi. Absolutely devastating what he did to the Dark Troopers. Some of it looked just as good. The comparison videos were out there, which were great, with Darth Vader's scene in Rogue One. There were a lot of split screens out there showing that. And yeah, man, some of the things that Luke did in the scene, even the over the back blocking the light, the laser bolt, just like Anakin did. They paid so much attention to the details. And the one thing that I said about the Rise of Skywalker was the battle when Luke Skywalker, or the training session when Luke Skywalker was having with Princess Leia, where they CGI composited. Okay, so Leia beat him in that. He was training her, and she's supposedly a more powerful Jedi. Fine, no problem. But Luke's fighting style in that scene was off. He just didn't look right. It did not look like anything that Mark Hamill had accomplished in Return of the Jedi as far as his fighting style. And his fighting style progressed from Empire Strikes Back to, it was more finessed and more polished until he kind of lost it with the dark side and, started beating down towards the end of Jedi. But it was more, his footwork was very fencing. You could see the shuffling of the feet, one forward, one back, one forward, one back, especially in the wide shot when the music starts playing, oh, and they're doing it. You can see he trained. And The Mandalorian captured that same level of training, where I don't know why they went wrong in The Rise of Skywalker with Luke fighting Princess Leia in that scene. The training scene. Granted, it was supposed to be short and sweet and a flashback. I get it, but it just didn't look like Luke Skywalker at all. This was just felt like Luke Skywalker. It felt like Mark Hamill, although they probably used a body double. I love this show. This show is absolutely fantastic. I almost feel like this should have been the jumping off point, hindsight's 2020, for Disney when they first bought the franchise. If they would have jumped from here and just taken it forward, that would have been so badass. I think we all, as fans, would have been completely satisfied in the direction that they went. There are things that I love about The Force Awakens, not a fan of The Last Jedi, and there was so much Band-Aid work going on with The Rise of Skywalker. It's not really something I watch much. I still think The Empire Strikes Back is the best Star Wars film on the planet and always will be. That being said, back to the last episode. Everything was great. I loved the almost shot for shot reveal of Din with the helmet when he pulled it off to reveal to Grogu himself. It was almost shot for shot Return of the Jedi, when Vader is saying to Anakin, or Vader is saying to Luke, "Let me look upon you with my own eyes." And you almost could see that in Grogu looking at him just before the helmet reveal. he was almost looking at him like, this is my last chance to see you. I'm about to leave. I just want, I wanted the permission, because Luke even said it, he wants permission to leave. And I felt in that moment, the eyes of the puppet, was hands down the same. And it was basically saying, let me look upon you, take the helmet off. And he took the helmet off, and we kind of got that foreshadowing in the episode with Bill Burr, that sometimes, you could be loyal and this is the way and all that kind of stuff. But, Alderaan's gone, Mandalore's gone. You could hold on to those old things, but you don't have to. I mean, even Bo-Katan, they always go helmetless. They don't hold on to that stuff. I know they're a different faction and stuff too, but the bottom line is it was such a fitting ending. And just when everything was absolutely perfect with the helmet, with everything, he sets him down, he's looking up at his leg, and it's crazy because I have, my daughter is, she's 13 months old, and she'll be on my leg, balancing, standing up, looking at me like that. So like I look down, and you look at that shot with Grogu, and you're like, oh, it's like, for me, it was a personal. I was like looking down at my kid, and so anyway, then you hear R2 chirp and come from around the corner. Are you kidding me? Obviously flew in with Luke Skywalker on the X-Wing, because the R2 unit's head was in the shot. Because that monitor black and white screen, I couldn't really make out if it was R2, and I had absolutely completely forgotten about it at that point, because Luke had been kicking ass on all those dark troopers, that like everything, you're in the moment, then all of a sudden, boom, out of nowhere, you're hit with another brick right over the head with R2 showing up. And the thing is that like R2 might have known Grogu, because he was around during Coruscant, and been around for years, with Anakin. So there's a chance that they recognized each other, and R2 when doing a little side-by-side dance and all that kind of stuff. And then I think for me, like, that moment when they're leaving and Grogu's looking over the shoulder, Twitter has been amazing with all the memes that they've been putting out. They did a good one about, I'll put it up here on the screen. But it's just like, it was so emotional. And looking back at Dan as he stood there, Pedro Pascal just standing there, and then they did a shot of Gina. They did a shot of everyone and getting their reactions as Luke Skywalker takes him away. And then when Luke turns and he's in the elevator shaft, it looked just like Return of the Jedi, when, the elevator shaft is there with, Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader. There's so much like montages, but again, like most elevator shafts in all the Imperial ships probably look the same. But for me, it was like, it was another aha moment. And then when he repositioned Grogu to his right arm, and then turned and everybody looked, and it was just the three of them there, Grogu, R2, and then boom, and then go straight to credits. Absolutely fantastic. This is the Star Wars we've all wanted, and I'm glad that we're getting it. I had heard prior to watching the episode that there was a post-credit scene just like Marvel, so I stuck around for that and then was not disappointed. I was actually blown away. As soon as I saw the Twin Suns, I actually thought they were going to give us some sort of nod to the Kenobi series. But then when it showed Jabba's palace, I was like, what? And then, the bounty hunter comes down, starts it's funny. Boba sent her in first, to start like assassinating everyone. And then Bib Fortuna is there, which is kind of odd because Bib Fortuna was on the sailing barge with Jabba the Hutt, during the explosion. So, how the hell did he get off? But at this point, it's like, we don't need to know, because Boba Fett just shot and killed him on the little throne there. And like Game of Thrones, it reminded me, again, thank you, Twitter. It reminded me of Conan, the Barbarian, Schwarzenegger on the throne. It was like, and that's the thing, like, we were all cheering for Boba Fett throughout The Mandalorian. But the bottom line is he's still kind of a bad guy. Like, he said, I would honor, you give me back my armor. I'll help you find the child. And he held up that end of the bargain by doing what he did. And then the space jump, which I loved. I think that's the going into hyperspace, space jump. I think that's what they said in the episode. That was really cool as well. And I loved the whole sequence with the Slave One, doing the fake out. And then the way the Imperial TIE fighters kind of shot out the front of that one destroyer, looked very much like Battlestar Galactica. So it was kind of felt like a nod to Bo-Katan there in that scene, and having to go and fly in, and that's, with the Imperial shuttle. I mean, all of it was just so damn good. Peyton Reed, director of Ant-Man and the Wasp, fantastic, absolutely just knocked it out of the park. And there's not much more to say other than I'll probably watch the last 7 minutes of that episode another 100 times. I mean, this is what we wanted with the sequel trilogy. Like, I know we couldn't have exactly gotten that because Luke Skywalker was aged and all that, and they made him the old guy that he was at the end of The Force Awakens. But we could have been given that type of sword play and everything. I mean, you could do the face replacement or do exactly what they did where Luke was cloaked and he could have fought Kylo or could have done something to give us what we needed. But instead, Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, and Peyton Reed delivered the Luke Skywalker we've all wanted. Now, will we see Luke Skywalker again? Here's something that I felt after that episode, that season finale. I feel like The Mandalorian, even though they say they're filming the third season, which I'm sure has to do with the battle for Mandalore now. It's like, who's going to have the Darksaber? Who's going to take over? Who's going to do all that? But I feel like they should just end this series on this episode. Just end it. It ended. Din's character came full circle. He cared about the kid the whole time, and his mission was to deliver the kid to the Jedi, the sorcerer. He did that. He accomplished that. He saved the kid's life, Grogu, and everything was absolutely perfect about these 2 seasons. Absolutely perfect. You could claim that there were a couple of episodes that were filler episodes, whatever. I mean, that's fine, or just plain fan service. Doesn't matter to me. Every single episode of the first 2 seasons have been absolutely fantastic. And I would be just fine if they ended it there. Period. Done. Mandalorian's over. It was a 2-season thing. And now we've got the Book of Boba Fett coming out. We've got Andor. We've got, all of that stuff. Ahsoka Tano, all that stuff's coming. So we get to expand the universe. But one of the things that I always felt was once you showed Luke Skywalker in some capacity, and they've referenced him a couple of times in the series. I think they talked about it about the battle of the Death Star or something that might have been in a hidden Easter egg in some of the Arabish that was written. But the thing about it is, like, this should be it. Like, what more character development does Din need? His character, it's like, if you do more with him, are you going to pull the Han shot first thing and kill his character arc? His arc was Grogu. This was it. This was the Kurosawa, the cub. This was it, the protector of the child, and now that's over, where do you go with that character to give him any more character? I just feel like his story is over and we should just end it there. But I don't think they're going to do it. Do we see, there's so many questions now that everybody's going to be debating. Grogu, was he there when Kylo or Ben Solo turned to the dark side and destroyed the Jedi Temple and killed all the disciples that were there, and some of them turned into the Knights of Ren? Did Grogu turn into a Knights of Ren? Even if he did, he got wiped out by Ben Solo anyway, and Rise of Skywalker. All these theories are going around. Like, once you introduce Luke Skywalker, then like the world expects a Luke Skywalker series or something where he's building the Jedis or just giving us more of that. But I think that's it. I think that's the last. I think they basically said the fans need this in order to move forward with, if it's going to be the High Republic or the Old Republic, or they Taika Waititi's doing, if he's doing Rebels with Ezra and all that kind of stuff. We needed to have this closure for the fandom, I think, because of what we had with Luke Skywalker. And what sucks is, like, no matter what we got just now, he still ends up the asshole on the rock, hiding, cowering, and then doing the astral projection crap that Rian Johnson spoon fed us, subverting expectations. And you know, it is what it is. The character wasn't handled properly then, but it's handled properly now. And I feel like they're like, okay, we gave you that, guys. We gave you the Luke Skywalker you always wanted to see, and now we've closed that. You know, where does Grogu go now? Did he grow up? Does he do we get a teenage version of him, a little taller? I mean, obviously he doesn't get much taller than Master Yoda if he's the same species. So, like, what do we get with that character going forward? Do we see Luke Skywalker training him? I just don't see them going down that road. But this was the Luke Skywalker we wanted. We finally got it. The CGI, I was fine with. I mean, it wasn't going to be perfect, trying to de-age him back, 40 years or 30 years, 35 years. It is what it is. It didn't take anything away from the moment we were given. It did not take anything away, the CGI. Everything was great. I mean, come on. Absolutely fantastic. And I'm glad Giancarlo Esposito, who tried to commit suicide out of fear of the Jedi Knight coming, was stopped, and we'll get more of him going forward. I'm looking forward to Ahsoka Tano fighting Thrawn. I'm looking forward to everything 2021 has to offer. And then December 25th of Christmas Day, we're getting the behind the scenes of Mandalorian season 2 as a Christmas present. I hope they show us how a really detailed, thorough, how they did the Luke Skywalker stuff. Don't just skim over it. Give the fans what we want. Give us a full segment describing it, everyone's thinking on it, the reactions, the artwork that went into it. Give us the CGI. Let us know how you did that. And is this technology, and the fact that they kept it a secret for a year. Even Mark Hamill said on his Twitter, he was like, I'm amazed we kept that secret for a year. Because obviously he was involved. If they did the de-aging type thing that they did with, like on the Marvel stuff that they do, whether it's, with all Robert Downey Jr. and Captain America Civil War, or Kurt Russell in Guardians of the Galaxy, or Michael Douglas in Ant-Man, like all that de-aging stuff is just getting better and better and better and better. Did they apply the same method that they did here? Did they deep fake it? Was Mark Hamill standing in there? No, I don't think so. He's a little stockier now. I don't know. There's so many questions that December 25th, we better get the answers. Now, if it's a small rollout of just like they did last time, like 8 episodes or whatever it was of The Mandalorian, the behind the scenes, that's fine too. I'll wait a week and keep watching that show and keep me interested until something else drops, like the Marvel stuff. But man, this was great. This was a great episode. This was the Luke Skywalker we always wanted. I've enjoyed watching everyone's reactions on YouTube, especially Star Wars Theory, Echo Base, a lot of these guys that I follow their channels. I loved seeing their reactions, and my reaction was pretty much on par with everyone else's. I just didn't record it. So I hope you like this video. What are your thoughts about the last episode of The Mandalorian, the season finale, and Luke Skywalker? Let's talk about it in the comments section, and we'll see you on the next one.